Hello, welcome. Yes, it's very early. It's 7:53 a.m. on Tuesday morning. Yes, Tuesday morning at very early, very early. Hope you are all going well. So I get on a plane. Hello, Osbel. It was very busy. I get on a plane Thursday morning, and over the weekend, wow, just what explosion, explosion, explosion. Yes, it was very, very busy. So Thursday morning, caught a plane, was in Adelaide, did a sound check, booked into a hotel. I had a couple of hours off, did a concert, went home. Friday morning, because it was we had a Good Friday service in the morning. We had to be packed up out of our hotel, ready to go at 9 o'clock. 8 o'clock or something like that. Service at 9:30. Get changed. Jumped on our buses for a 4-hour drive down to Port Augusta, or up to Port Augusta, 4 hours. Got there at 4:30, straight off the bus, because we got delayed. There were roadworks. We got delayed. They pushed the concert back a few minutes. Essentially walked in, saying we got fed, checked into our hotel's bed. Up the next morning, early, breakfast, drove back 4 hours back to Adelaide. Another sound check. Hotel, couple of hours rest. Concert, Easter Sunday morning, up at 5. On the bus at 6 a.m. for a morning service, an 8 a.m. service in Gawler. Then we got breakfast. We did a 10 a.m. service, jumped on the bus, went to the other side of Adelaide for an afternoon concert, jumped on the bus to the airport. That was my weekend. 3 nights, 3 different beds. And yes, back. And yesterday I literally just slept. So how are you all? Hello, Keno. Hello, the Fox. Hello, Angela. So there's some Katie Joyce stuff I want to talk about, and some Todd Chrisley stuff I want to talk about. And there is some stuff that's going on. We're watching a real life marriage breakup happening all over. The Fox. No, I don't really. In fact, I feel very weird because today's the only day, like when it's like I've gotten up and I'm like looking for the bus. Like, where's the bus? So I think it's Tuesday, right? No. Yeah, so it's going to take me a few days to recover, but look, it was good. It was busy, and to be appreciated, particularly from the people of Port Augusta, who, I tell you, there is nothing like country cooking. The country people know how to spoil you, and it was worth the 4-hour drive. Actually, it was more like 5 hours, because for some reason they decided to do roadworks. They had all this. And of course, it happened on my driving stint. So we had these like 11-seater buses. We had 3 of them, and so we all took turns in driving. So during my stint, which was from Adelaide to Port Wakefield, which was only supposed to be an hour and a half, or something like 2.5, because we got to a point where it was just all roadworks and it was all 40 kilometres an hour. So, yeah, it's been crazy. So, yeah, I want to sort of look at what's gone on. And, of course, I couldn't do anything about it because I was away. So let's have a look at what is going on here. So we know that Todd Chrisley was suing Katie Joy. And of course, he released the podcast as well, and he's implied that there's some more coming for her. Lindsay Chrisley's spoken out against Katie Joy. It's like everybody. It's just crazy. And of course, oh wow, there's been another one filed, has there? Oh, let's have a look. No, that might be the same one. I'm just trying to have a look. No, that's that one. Just trying to keep up with everything. Yeah, Angela says, I heard Lindsay Chrisley may be suing Katie Joy. Well, that's what the rumor is. That's the rumor. I mean, Lindsay Chrisley's been very, what's the word? Pointed by her. She's very, yeah, she's been very outspoken to it. Hello, Sandra. How are you? I'm just trying to find. I've got some stuff to do later today, so I'm still trying to catch up on life. So we'll get there. So let's start off with. I mean, first of all, the interesting thing is if you look at the she's back on Duggars again. If we look at Katie Joy's Instagram, she's gone back to Duggars. Oh, hello, Joe Bean Joe. So two friends that stab you in the back. She's really gone quiet on the 7M stuff. If you, I mean, you don't. Yeah, look, I might show you some photos later. If you go to jail for tax evasion, you are living off taxes because you didn't pay tax. Here is the problem with this meme. If you go to you don't just go to jail for tax evasion. You can go to jail for anything, and you're living off the government. I mean, this is just. And apparently, she says she will never go to jail for tax evasions. Apparently. And now she's got the trial transcript. So now she's going back to her Duggar stuff. Now she's she's got thousands of pages of court transcript. I think her attorney told her no more 7M talk, Billy. Hello, Billy. Oh, look, it's true. Apparently she's talking about the son getting busted for doing stuff, but and now she's going off at Jessa. So she's back onto the Duggars because we know that that's where her content is. But let's look at this. And I know lots of people have been going through the 7M lawsuits and everything. Plus, I actually watched her live stream the other day, and it was really quite disturbing. But I also want to talk about the other drama that's going on before our eyes of the marriage. We're watching a marriage breakup, and you know who I'm talking about. And for me, all I can think of are the kids, and the kids need to be the first priority. And again, whatever they want to do whatever they want to do, and whatever fighting they want to do, or whatever is happening. Who is this chick? Hello, Clay. Can't KJ get in trouble for posting the victims on witness list? She could do, Nikki. I noticed that that's been deleted. Oh no, it's here. The Chrisley. Oh no, it's here. I think she could. Here, potential witnesses. So now here's my other thing. She's saying, here. I thought she said that they weren't allowed to talk to their witness list, but yeah, the Chrysleys were instructed to have no contact with potential witnesses or victims about the facts of the case in the August 2019 letter. If their children are witnesses or whatever, I mean, they surely can't stop them from talking to them. I mean, that's just stupid. But anyway, I think she can, but so far she's been able to escape everything. So let's have a look at what potential. Well, just because you're a potential. Hello, Laura. I know, Laura. No, I'm talking about all the stuff. I went away on Thursday and everything got crazy when I went away. So, all right. Hello, Clay. Hello, but who is this chick? Did she kill her kid? No, she hasn't done anything like that. She just does lots of gossip about people and doesn't think about what she's doing. I thought there was another one I've missed here. Everyone is nuts. Hello, Christine. How are you? Right. So that was... Oh, yeah. So first of all, good... Yeah. Oh, Mrs. Roadhog. Oh, yes, Mrs. Roadhog is the person that is... Hello, Vedandra. Yeah, I can see you. I don't think any of my mods are here, so that's okay. Oh, what are we doing? All right. So let's have a look. I'm just trying to get these into order at the moment. So first of all, she filed a... She didn't. Oh, that's all right, Nikki. At the moment, I think we're fine. Everyone's pretty cool, but I will, yeah, if it gets crazy. I don't usually get lots of people in. Yeah, we'll get on to all of that other stuff, Kai, shortly. So this was a letter that was served by Katie Joy's side for the... So, and I'm still really confused as to how the criminal and the civil matters can even be related. JFK might show up again. Well, if JFK wants to show up, JFK's more than one. No, I think JFK's banned. But so I want to reschedule the hearing for the motion to dismiss, because it's actually due to come up. There's a motion hearing on the 27th and another motion hearing on the 20th. So there's a motion hearing on the 27th of April and another one on the 20th of July. So this is everything that's been filed so far. So there was the discovery plan, notice of motion. Christine says ED thing. Well, I don't understand either. I know. Look, I know I don't have the legal expertise of Katie Joy, and I'm really sorry about that. But it makes no sense to me, and I know that I'm only a lawyer. But I just cannot find a connection. And you can be witness on multiple cases at the same time as well. But anyway, This says, Dear Judge McPherson, after being served with the plaintiff summons and complaint in this matter in October 18, 2021, the defendants in this matter responded with a motion to dismiss under Rule 12 of the Minnesota Rules of Civil Procedure. Initially, the hearing on that motion was scheduled for January and subsequently moved out to April. The motion is currently set to be heard on April 27th at 2 p.m. Now, here's my other thing, right? If you were confident that you were going to get a motion to dismiss, confident you were going to get your motion to dismiss, right? That is actually before the other, like before his criminal trial. Why wouldn't you be fronting court to have your motion to dismiss heard before the trial? Because unless you really think that there's a problem, and I mean, so the motion to dismiss is scheduled to occur on April 27. The criminal matter is scheduled for May 16. She could, if she was confident it was going to be dismissed, it could be all done and dusted, and she could be counting her pennies while he's dealing with his criminal case. It makes no sense unless there's a chance that it's going to fail. Now we're stalling. So while this case, the plaintiff currently has scheduled a federal criminal trial starting May 16, 2022. While that case regards charges of tax evasion and a number of tangential issues regarding the witnesses, including Mr. Chrisley's daughter Lindsay, and her interactions with various tax authorities regarding her father, regard news items forming the basis of the bulk of Mr. Chrisley's causes of action against Miss Paulson in the case currently before the court. Now, here's my other issue. Todd Chrisley said he had all of Lindsay's correspondence, which means he already knows what Katie Joy has sent, right? If he's got all of the correspondence, he already knows. So for her saying, I'm not going to give you any of my information on Lindsay to protect her, he's already got it. He doesn't need it. But this is about seeing whether she's going to comply. This is also about seeing whether what Lindsay's given him and what Katie Joy has got matches. This is, yeah. So because witness testimony in the federal court's jury findings of fact in the criminal may bear on issues relevant to this proceeding, Ms. Paulson respectfully requests this court leaves to reschedule the hearing on her motion to dismiss until after conclusion of the trial in the criminal case, so any relevant findings of fact may be considered by the parties in the court in this matter. Please let me know if you have any questions. Anyway, that's, as I said, I can't really find a connection. Yes, and Lindsay did put a statement out. I'm just trying to locate that at the moment. I'm sure someone's got it somewhere. You think Katie Joy's quit Instagram? Oh no, she's been on there this morning. She's there. No, she's on there. She's gone back to Duggars. So, as I said, it makes no for me it makes no sense why you would not want the civil case. If you are so confident that you are going to have your motions dismissed, then why why aren't you doing it? KJ knew when she agreed to the date the motion was dismissed too late. Yeah, she's still on Instagram. I can see her too. But all right, that's just, I mean, again, that's just my opinion. I can't. Well, that's the thing, Laura. There has to be something in there that's going to hurt her case. So, yeah. Okay. There possibly, I mean, yeah, no, I'm trying to work it. Yeah, look, I've decided that I can't make any sense of it. So then, Todd Chrisley has opposed the motion to dismiss. So this is that document that was filed. I noticed that it's under personal injury, which is a really interesting thing. So it's a yes, she has. I'm trying to find those posts at the moment. So defendants Catherine Mansky Polson, aka Katie Jo Polson, and Without a Crystal Ball have monetized a years-long campaign of lies directed at the plaintiff Michael Todd Chrisley. In particular, they have repeatedly accused Mr. Chrisley of 1A, attempting to extort his own daughter by threatening to release a sex tape featuring her and a man other than her then husband if she would not lie to criminal investigators, and 2, attempting to extort Miss Polson herself. So remember, she did say that extortion was a criminal offence. So defendants have used these salacious falsehoods to drive traffic to social media outlets, broadcasting them to an audience of thousands in order to reap the benefits of resulting ad revenue. Mr. Chrisley now seeks through this lawsuit to hold Miss Polson and Without a Crystal Ball to account. Defendants have responded with a motion to dismiss that attempts to rewrite not just the defamatory statements at issue, but also controlling law. Well, we have seen Katie Joy has, in fact, she does try to rewrite history. Just because she hits delete on her Instagram posts doesn't mean that they've disappeared. Right? Hello, short order cook. You just woke up. I know I'm really early. Defendants contend that the fair and accurate reporting privilege shields Miss Polson's falsehoods, but that privilege does not apply because, among other things, none of Miss Polson's defamatory statements report on or summarise governmental proceedings or public records. Miss Polson further argues that Mr. Chrisley must, at the pleading stage, come forward with evidence proving that her alleged defamatory statements are known lies. Mentioned at 12 to 14. Not so. Mr. Chrisley need only plead, as he does, that Miss Polson knew her statements to be false or that she acted recklessly in making them. Now, in Australia, it's up to the defendant to prove that what they said was not defamatory. So you actually, and that happens, and that's what sort of action per se is that you can make the plaintiff can doesn't need to prove that they don't have to prove. It's up to the defendant to defend it. Now, I don't know what the rules are in Minnesota, but anyway. Miss Polson only contends that isolated phrases from her social media posts accusing Mr. Chrisley of extorting her are literally true. But it is axiomatic that the defamatory character of any particular statement must be construed in the context of the article as a whole. And that's a quote from Jadwin versus the Star versus Tribune. So the fact that individual phrases are true does not relieve Miss Polson's liability when in context they plainly accuse Mr. Chrisley of criminal activity. Accordingly, the motion to dismiss should be denied. Okay, so now this is the background of the matter. I'm not going to go through it all, but I love this. Defendant Catherine Polson is an internet personality and blogger, producing content with a focus on reality television. So it's interesting. She claims to be close friends with Lindsay Chrisley, a relationship that helps distinguish her from competing internet personalities with a similar focus. So, and it's interesting. And her false statements include the following. And it says, on October 19, 2019, Miss Polson posted now deleted. YouTube video. And then in another now deleted, the KJ has a personality. YouTube video, that one's not deleted. January 5, that Mr. Crystal attempted to extort from his daughter. Then we've got tweets that Chrisley threatened his daughter with releasing the tape. Another tweet, she created a Facebook post. She made another Instagram post. So it's really, I like when they say now deleted, it's very interesting. So on the 6th of August 2021, she wrote, "Today we served Todd Chrisley's attorney with a cease and desist for defamation. I can't even talk. Extortion and tortious interference for threats he's made over the past 3 weeks. It's against the law to threaten to destroy someone unless they provide private information. Extortion is a felony." That same day, she posted on Instagram with a screenshot of the above tweet. "Extortion is a felony and punishable by prison time. At this time, we have not reported this to the FBI. Threatening someone to hand over private information or else you'll ruin them is extortion, and under law is a criminal felony. We take these threats seriously as Mr. Chrisley is on bond for federal charges related to a 9-count indictment." And it says these are false. Mr. Chrisley never attempted to extort Miss Paulson. And despite knowing these statements to be false, Miss Paulson broadcast them to an audience. By spreading these falsehoods, Miss Paulson has damaged Mr. Chrisley's reputation and caused him emotional distress. It says defendant's motion moved to dismiss under Minnesota Rule of Civil Procedure and the Minnesota's liberal notice pleading standard ruled motion to dismiss for failure to state a claim will be denied if it is possible on any evidence which might be produced consistent with the pleader's theory to grant the relief demanded. There's the case. In determining whether a complaint sets forth a legally sufficient claim, the court must accept that the facts alleged in the complaint as true and construed all reasonable inferences in favour of the non-moving party. So essentially, it's up to Katie Joy to prove that they're false, that they're true, that what she's saying is true. So here's their argument. So the fair and accurate reporting privilege does not apply. Well, she's not a journalist. Generally, the common law republication rule provides a speaker who knows or should know that a statement is false and defamatory but repeats it, nonetheless is equally liable for the defamation as the original speaker. Defendants first argue that Ms. Paulson's defamatory statements fall within the fair and accurate reporting privilege, which is an exception to the common law Republican rule, and an affirmative defense. It shields from liability one who publishes an accurate and complete report or a fair abridgment of public proceedings or public records that would otherwise be defamatory. Well, she hasn't done that, has she? Defendants contend that the privilege applies here because Ms. Paulson's defamatory publications are drawn wholly from a police report and a televised interview Lindsay Chrisley sat for with Dr. Phil, Mem at 9. But that factual premise is simply incorrect. None of the statements issue summarizes or abridges any police report. And then they've put in only a few even refer to Lindsay Chrisley's interview with Dr. Phil, and many rely on or summarize other non-privileged sources such as various social media posts by Lindsay Chrisley. Moreover, defendants' defamatory claims that Mr. Chrisley attempted to extort Ms. Paulson herself are completely unconnected to the cited police report and interview. Blah, blah, blah. So she can't defend those extortion claims because, as they said, that's not even connected to that. Defendants make no effort to explain how the fair reporting privilege attaches to any particular statement at the issue. They simply invoke this affirmative defense and leave it to Mr. Chrisley and the court to puzzle out how it might apply. So what they're saying is that she's saying, I've got privilege, fair reporting privilege, but she actually hasn't stated out of the claims which ones, so which statements she's made that she's pleading fair reporting. Because as they said, the extortion claim was not even part of the, wasn't even part of that. So that bit. So interesting, isn't it? Even if Miss Paulson's reporting did summarise or abridge a police report made by Lindsay Chrisley, the fair reporting privilege would not apply. As the restatement explains, an arrest by an officer or an official action and a report of the fact of the arrest or charge of the crime made by the officer in returning the arrest is therefore within the conditional privilege covered by this section. Restatement second of torts. In stark contrast, statements made by the complainant or other witnesses outside of a public proceeding or official statements, such as Lindsay Chrisley's complaint, are not privileged under this section. We conclude that the unofficial statements made by police sources are outside the scope of the fair reporting privilege. So, again, only official statements. So, I'm reading the opposition. I'm reading the Chrisley's motion, response to the motion to dismiss. So it's saying such reports to police are unverified hearsay rather than official statements. And again, see, whenever you do this in court documents, you always so there is a case there that they've taken that from. So it says, notably, the Minnesota Supreme Court cited Jones with approval in its leading cases concerning the fair reporting privilege. So when cases are cited approvingly, it means that the court has actually agreed with that. So quite often when you go cases, particularly when you've got cases like this, they'll say the judges might either affirm a previous case or they'll disprove, or they'll be against the previous case. So they've taken the side of this previous case. And the Minnesota Supreme Court has consistently followed the restatement's approach in delineating the limits of the fair reporting privilege. Miss Paulson's reporting regarding Miss Chrisley's interview on Dr. Phil likewise fails to trigger the fair reporting privilege. Indeed, defendants acknowledge as much, admitting, which is considerably understatement, that there may be some agreement to the application of this privilege to Dr. Phil interview. The fair reporting privilege applies solely to reports of governmental proceedings and public records. See Restatement Second of Torts. Minnesota courts have taken an incremental approach in defining the privilege and have applied it only in limited circumstances, including involving government proceedings or statements. The undersigned is aware of no authority applying the fair reporting privilege to statements made on a daytime talk show. I love that line. Oh, I love that line. The undersigned, so the lawyers, is aware of no authority applying the fair reporting privilege to statements made on a daytime talk show. The defendants cite no such authority, nor do they otherwise provide a legal basis for this court to expand the privilege far beyond its recognised bounds. So we've got here, defendants assert that in passing that Miss Chrisley's false account of a meeting with her father on Dr. Phil consisted of statements made by the eyewitness, whose account has presumptive veracity. Mem at 9. It is unclear why defendants believe Miss Chrisley's falsehoods have presumptionally veracity, as they do not explain. Under Minnesota Rule of Civil Procedure 12.02, the court must credit the allegations of Mr. Chrisley's complaint and presume the opposite. Finally, even if the publication at issue here summarised or abridged privileged sources, the privilege is lost if one makes additions of their own that would convey a defamatory impression, impute corrupt motives to anyone, or indict expressively or in innuendo the veracity or integrity of any of the parties. Again, citing the rule and quoting Restatement Second of Torts. If a defendant ventures beyond summarising or abridging a public record or proceeding, the entire report would be subject to evaluation as any other alleged defamatory statement. There you go. Miss Paulson's publications include many defamatory additions not found in the cited sources. Among other things, Miss Paulson has claimed that Mr. Chrisley himself attempted to purchase the sex tape of his daughter. Mr. Chrisley threatened his daughter with the release of nude photographs in addition to sex tape. Mr. Chrisley threatened to release the sex tape through social media. Miss Paulson also repeatedly opined on the party's credibility, I believe Lindsay Chrisley, cited additional non-privileged sources to bolster the false story, and speculating regarding Mr. Chrisley's corrupt motive, claiming Mr. Chrisley mistreated his daughter because he was mad, because Lindsay Chrisley wouldn't lie to federal prosecutors for him. This forecloses defendants from invoking the fair reporting privilege, or the very least renders its application a jury question. All right, so has adequately, so one of the other things, so first of all, she did the fair reporting, that she was a journalist. So now they're saying that he couldn't plead malice. So Mr. Chris has adequately pled actual malice. Public figures bringing defamation claims must show that a defamatory statement was made with the actual malice, meaning it was made with the knowledge that it was false or with reckless disregard of whether it was false or not. And again, case law. Always need case law. Defendants argue at considerable lengths that Mr. Chrisley has not adequately pled that Miss Paulson made her statements with actual malice. They base this argument on the flawed premise that Mr. Chrisley must put forth evidence proving that the alleged defamatory statements are known lies, or were made with reckless disregard at the pleading stage. Minnesota has adopted a liberal notice pleading standard. Oh, gee whiz. The Minnesota law may come back to bite her, eh? In my opinion. Minnesota has adopted a liberal notice pleading standard under which A, Rule 12.02, motion to dismiss for failure to state claim will be denied if it is possible on any evidence which might be produced consistent with the pleader's theory to grant the relief demanded. Accordingly, a plaintiff need not put forth evidence of the actual malice at the pleading stage. Gathering the evidence is the function of discovery. Therefore, the plaintiff only need to allege that the defendant knew the defamatory statements at issue to be false or made recklessly to actually plead malice. So, in this case, in Harpel and Son, holding the plaintiff adequately pled actual malice by alleging the defendant made defamatory statements with full knowledge that the statements were false with a reckless disregard for truth or falsity of the statements. They've quoted another one. And then once alleged, actual malice is a question of fact for the jury. So they've put 3 court cases there. Mr. Chrisley repeatedly alleges that Miss Paulson knew the defamatory statements at the issue to be false when she made them, or at least acted with reckless disregard to the truth. He thus satisfies the pleading standards set by Minnesota law. In fact, Mr. Quisley goes well beyond the requirements of notice pleading and alleges a number of circumstances demonstrating that Miss Paulson knew the statements to be fact, or at least reckless. Among other things, Mr. Quisley alleges that Miss Paulson fabricated sources to bolster the defamatory statements, ultimately deleted most of the egregious false statements from the social media accounts. Now she can't deny. We know that's. I mean, point number 2. They've actually put in their pleadings that there are videos that are now deleted, or she'll say they were privated, but they're now not public. Yeah, I'll get on to the hogs shortly after this. Has she posted on her community post? I'll have a look later, but yeah, that's yeah. So we know that she's delayed. So that's going to be interesting to see how she gets out, how she's going to delete, how she's going to get through some of that. Ignored the inherently improbable and sensationalistic of the statements, had a strong financial motive to disregard falsity of her statements, regularly communicated with Lindsay Chrisley, who knew the statements to be false. Well, she may be forced to. A statement may have been made with actual malice if it is fabricated by the defendant, is the product of his imagination, is based wholly on the unverified anonymous telephone call, or if the publisher allegations are so inherently improbable that only a reckless man would put them in circulation. These allegations are far more detailed than Minnesota law requires. So the statements that the defendants contend are literally true, carry a false and defamatory meaning when read in context. Finally, the defendants argue that individual sentences in Miss Paulson's social media posts accusing Mr. Quisley of extorting her are literally true when viewed in isolation. But the defamatory character of any particular statement must be construed in the context of the publication as a whole. Miss Paulson's statements, viewed in context, plainly carry a false and defamatory meaning. So statements are defamatory per se if they falsely accuse a person of a crime, which was found in Longburn and, that one. With regard to false accusations of a crime, the words need not carry upon the face of a direct imputation of a crime, and it is sufficient if the words spoken in their ordinary acceptance, which naturally and presumably be understood in connection and under the circumstances in which they are used to impute a charge of crime. Here, an ordinary reader would understand the 2 social media posts at issue to impute the false charge that Mr. Quisley committed the felony of extortion by making threats against Miss Paulson, whether or not individual sentences are those social media posts are literally true in isolation. So, for example, extortion is a felony. So what they're essentially saying here is that a reasonable person would pick out bits of what she said and believe them. So, for example, extortion is a felony. So everyone, that's really what they're sort of saying, is that an ordinary reader or an ordinary person that reads these are making judgments based on what's written. So where she says extortion is a felony, and then because it's about Todd Quisley, everyone's going to think that he's committed a felony. As to the first publication, defendants attempt to rewrite Ms. Paulson's words to elide their defamatory meaning. They assert the sentence, "Today we served Todd Chrisley's attorneys with a cease and desist for defamation," is literally true and cannot convey a defamatory meaning. But that is not what Miss Paulson wrote. Defendants admit the latter half of the sentence. The full sentence reads, "Today we served Todd Chrisley's attorney with a cease and desist for defamation, extortion, and tortious interference for the threats he's made over the past 3 weeks." The tweet continues, "It's against the law to threaten to destroy someone unless they provide private information. Extortion is a felony." So they're just proving that they don't, yeah. The only way to understand this social media post as a whole is that Mr. Chrisley committed the felony of extortion by making threats against Miss Paulson. Indeed, that accusation is explicit in the portion of Miss Paulson's tweets that defendants conspicuously admit from their brief. That's just what I said, right? That's how I explained it. So they've actually spelt it out. So, and that they're saying that when they're saying they didn't say it, but the whole tweet, yeah. The second publication incorporates the first and is defamatory for that reason alone. It also elaborates on the accusations of the first publication, stating, "Extortion is a felony and punishable by prison time. At this time, we have not reported this to the FBI. Threatening someone to hand over private information or else you'll ruin them is extortion and under law is a criminal felony. We take these threats seriously as Mr. Chrisley is on bond charges related to a 9-count indictment." Again, the statements in context plainly convey a false and defamatory meaning that Mr. Chrisley made threats that Miss Paulson takes seriously to the point that she considered reporting them to the FBI, and that the threats constituted extortion and a felony punishable by prison time. What's more, the language is unambiguous on imputing to Mr. Chrisley the charge of committing a criminal felony as opposed as engaging in a mere rhetorical hyperbole. This is defamation. I can't speak today. Defamation per se. An accusation of extortion constitutes slander per se. Calling the person an extortionist is defamatory as a matter of law. So in these cases, in any event, the statements are above, at a minimum, plainly capable of conveying the defamatory meaning that Mr. Chrisley attempted to extort Miss Paulson. If the words are capable of a defamatory meaning, a jury must then decide whether they were actually defamatory, and for Molitor and Molitor. So here's their conclusion. Defendants have spent years spreading vicious falsehoods concerning Mr. Chrisley for their own gain. They cannot escape liability by donning the ill-fitting mantle of journalists, nor by pretending they did not say what they said. Accordingly, the court should deny the defendant's motion in its entirety. They cannot escape a liability by donning the ill-fitting mantle of journalist. Or by pretending they did not say what they said. Oh, that's hilarious. Right. So, all right. So then, because Paulson's lawyers, so this is their response to the letter about postponing it. Dear Judge McPherson, Plaintiff Todd Chrisley writes in response to a letter from defendants dated April 12, 2022, concerning the upcoming hearing on the defendant's motion to dismiss. Defendants request that the court delay the imminent hearing on their motion to dismiss pending the conclusion of the upcoming trial in United States versus Chrisley, as defendants apparently concede that the case concerns subject matter unrelated to this litigation, while defendants contend that tangential issues may be addressed during the trial that may bear issues relevant to this proceeding. Defendants neither explain nor support that assertion. It is unclear how the trial could impact defendants' motion to dismiss. As detailed in plaintiff's opposition, the arguments raised in defendant's motion fail as a matter of law, regardless what may transpire at the upcoming trial. Moreover, the trial date in the above case was sent months before the defendants filed their motion to dismiss and secured the upcoming hearing date. Defendants were plainly aware of it. Indeed, they noted the trial date in their memorandum of law supporting their motion to dismiss. Nothing has changed since then except the plaintiffs started to pursue discovery. As explained in plaintiff's recent letter to the court, defendants have attempted to justify their refusal meaningfully to participate in discovery by reference to their unresolved motion to dismiss. This recent effort to delay the upcoming hearing, which defendants initially sought to hold at the earliest possible opportunity, raises concern that the defendants will continue to cite their unresolved motion as a justification for their refusal to honour their discovery obligations. Accordingly, while there is no need to delay the resolution of defendant's motion to dismiss, should the court reschedule the hearing on that motion, plaintiff respectively requests the court utilises the time reserved for the hearing to hold a conference on the discovery disputes raised in the plaintiff's discovery letter. So, So, and they're saying what I'm saying is that I cannot find anything that says to me that they're linked. The only thing that she's got is that Lindsay Chrisley is a potential witness. All right, I'm just going to have a look. So there's something on the all right. So we're going to just jump over to the hogs at the moment. I'm just pulling up this. All right. So as we know, there's been over the last couple of days. This is Mrs. Roadhog has just, or the Hoggets. I'll be the only one to tell my story. Read the attached physical assault English, soft tissue contusion English. Follow up with community. So she's got today's visit. You were seen by. Reason for visit: neck injury, DV. Diagnosis: physical assault by what? Manual strangulation, contortion of neck in short encounter. They did a CAT scan, an ECG, and an X-ray. I don't know. So, well, in Australia, they're mandated reporters. So, as I said, I don't know. So, in case you haven't know, if you know Boss Hog and Mrs. Roadhog, or they were Roadhog and Mrs. Roadhog, over the weekend, it's come out that there was no baby. The current story is that about 3 months ago she miscarried, and Boss Hog didn't know about it, and he had been defending her. That has ended in a situation that is now being played out over YouTube. There's several videos on Boss Hog's channel now. He was even recording during one of the police visits, which look, I don't know. I don't know what the truth is. I would prefer that it's all done offline. You know, this is stuff we don't need to know about. I know he was talking about how he's going to have to quit his job and all of this sort of stuff. And I sort of go, well, I had to do the same. Your kids should come first. And it should always be about the children. And I'm very concerned that, or for about the children. The boss hog thing is that he's there's been an ugly breakup over the weekend. Short order cook. He's admitted that the baby story was not true. He is alleging that she told him that he found out 48 hours prior to it all ending, that she had allegedly miscarried 3 months ago and he didn't know. I really, the fact is at one point in time, the two younger children, so one child was his, one child was her, were asleep in the room, and when the police came, I believe her daughter got woken up in the middle of the night to go with her to some other location. Look, it's just a big mess, and as I said, I'd prefer not to see it play out online. I just think it's something that you need to do in your own privacy. There are now allegations of, so Mrs. Hoggett, she's just now posted her hospital stuff. I know Teaspiracy had a live yesterday, and Michelle's mother was on, and she was saying she's added, there's another part of the story, and so none of it is coming to, none of it makes sense. If you try and put the whole thing together, it's not making sense. I think it's very, 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 very sad. There are allegations that she's taken all the money out of the account. There's allegations that she's taken all of the computers. There's just allegations. Well, Billy, that's what everyone's saying, that it would have been a stillborn, that there would have had to have been a death certificate. So let's see that. Now, he's saying he maintains that he went to some of the appointments at the start and she was definitely pregnant. He's trying to say now that he was part of that lie. Laura, that is the other question. I noticed that was one of the things that I thought was very interesting as well. Why would she do that? So it's essentially a really big mess. I'm sorry. I feel sorry for both parties that it's come to this, that they cannot work it out, that whatever's happened. But my biggest concern is for the children, and I just want them to be safe and happy. And having seen my own children go through a separation and a divorce, children don't come out it is weird. Children get traumatized in the nature of divorce and separation. I can't imagine what these kids are going to live with. Hello, Just Doom. So I would prefer that it gets taken offline. And there's allegations now because she's now put the hospital report on the online that he's been strangled. But I think for me, if the allegations were true, I wouldn't be taught, I feel that he would be arrested by now, but I just don't know. Yeah, he says that, but he lies too, so I don't believe it. Doing this in front of the kids is disgusting. The thing is, I've noticed that his sub count's gone up. So, as they say, drama sells. Why not put your dramatic life on track and, get more subs, I guess. I mean, let's face it. That's what KJ. I mean, that's why KJ starts a lot of the stuff that she does. She knows drama sells. She knows that people not liking her is going to get her clicks and views and money. I mean, let's face it. There are so many people out there that want to make the money off YouTube, and they'll do whatever. They'll do whatever it is to get their money. I'm not saying that that's what's happening here, but I just, yeah, he's well, then Billy says that, yeah, she'd have to file charges. Well, why doesn't she? Why hasn't she filed the charges? Again, if it is like that, why haven't you filed charges? I just, look, again, there's so much not making sense here. Yeah, so this all went crazy over the weekend. And I haven't even got to we haven't even got to the crazy Australia stuff yet. You know, we're in the middle of an election at the moment, and it's crazy. So, I know. Look, I watched some of it. I watched it in and out, but it gets to be really quiet. I found it. Yeah, I think most people are worried about the kids. I don't care. You know, I really don't care about either of them. I care about the kids. And as I said, having gone through it with my own children, and knowing that the trauma that they went through, and mine was done offline, and it was pretty civil. I can't imagine this is going to be nasty, absolutely nasty. And he wouldn't be the first one that's had to. He's not the first person that's had to change their working hours, or when he says he works a night shift and he's going to have to quit his job, well, you could do what a lot of people do and work when your child's at school. That's my thing. A lot of people work school hours, so you work when they're at school. So it's definitely going to be interesting. Michelle's deleting comments? Is she? Yeah, look, let's have a look. As I said, I just don't know. I heard somebody I was watching something this morning. Who was it? Somebody's channel. Yeah, there's no comments there. Well, yeah. Back in Laura's just written something. I forgot what I was going to say. I lost my train of thought there for a moment. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Somebody was speculating that maybe this is all planned to get the subs. It would be very horrible. It would be very horrible if that is true. So, Laura written, comments been deleted already. If you are the only one who will tell your story, then why was your mother talking to T-Spiracy last night? Seriously, there are children caught up in this mess. You and your husband need to take you off social media and handle things privately and like adults. Yes. I hope this doesn't give you pushback. Just Doom says, I don't want you caught in the middle. Oh, look. Just Doom, that's fine. Laura, I'm still standing. I'm still standing. Yeah. yeah. That is not a good business plan or life plan or good parenting, right? As I said, that's I speculate. I just that was I was watching a channel this morning, and that was what they were saying. Well, Justine, I haven't spoken about them for a very long time, and I decided that this one I can't be silent about, and I'm not. I'm just saying. I feel for them. I know where he's coming from, but it needs to be taken offline. Uh, so, oh, Nikki, you deleted. Oh dear. All right. So anyway, I've said my bit on that. So I'm sure that that's going to continue on for days and days and days, unfortunately. But as I said, I'm just very concerned about the children. As that famous Simpsons quote says, "Will somebody think of the children?" I can't say it in that voice, but Mrs. What's her name? The minister's wife. She's that's her famous quote. Will somebody think of the children? And unfortunately, in the mess of separation and divorce, it becomes very self-centered and very selfish, and you're not thinking about the kids. Because if people thought about the kids, you would do things a lot differently. That's all I'm going to say. Oh, that's all I will say. All right. So let's go to Katie's live the other day that Llama Girl put up, because again, this is because she talks about Todd Chrisley, and she talks about 7M, and she talks about Josh Duggar. Yes, I live in Melbourne, so I'm on the east, the west. Oh, Ginger Lee, you have a question, Ginger Lee? I hope I can answer it. My kids were born in Perth. I lived in Perth for 16 years. Ask away, Ginger Lee. Oh, and I have one more comment to make. He talked about the wife getting all this money out and something about needing to get a new phone. So where did the money for the phone come from? Anyway, I just overthink things. I just analyze things too much. That's what studying law does. Every time somebody tells you something, and then they tell you something slightly different. Probably not, Ginger Lee. Probably not. Probably not. I don't think so. Oh, it would be nice, but no, I don't think so. I probably won't be allowed to. I can handle him. Look, I probably would I'd probably want to find out some stuff. Sing at the jury. That would be interesting. I had to submit an assignment last night. I didn't get it. I didn't get it completely done. I did part A. I didn't get part B all finished, but I submitted it anyway because I figured it was 10 marks. And look, if I get 50 for the first part, I pass anyway. So I'm not trying to set the world on fire. I'm just trying to pass at the moment. Anyway, all right. So let's have a look at KJ. Oh, really? Billy, is there limits? Because in Australia, we don't necessarily have limits. So, yeah. I know there's limits for, sometimes banks have limits for FPOS and stuff, but I'm not sure about ATMs. I've never taken out a large amount. If I have to go get large amounts out, I usually go to the branch. But, all right. Cool. All right. So let's go. We're gonna just have a quick look here. This was a good one. Oh, this was, yeah. I actually watched this live, so let's go. Llama Girl's right. So thank you again, Llama Girl. Fasten your seatbelts. KJ on the night. Yeah. Here's the thing. Once we've seen this clip, I wanna ask you who was right. All right, who was right?
There's like a glare. Hi. I think I'm shadow banned right now on Instagram.
Notice that she's got the one that makes it look like that she's crying. I thought she was crying when I first saw it.
I've been noticing that when you search my name, you have to put in my whole name. So make sure that you're following me and you're liking all those posts and like boosting them and stuff and giving comments and stuff. Oh, I'm really tired and my makeup is a mess, so I have like a little filter on right now. And
hang on.
Yeah.
I've just got a phone call I've got to answer. Just hold on, it's my mother. So I'll be back in a minute. Sorry about that. I become very popular at inappropriate times.
There's like a glare.
Oh.
I've been noticing that when you search my name, you have to put in my whole name. So make sure that you're following me and you're liking all those posts and like boosting them and stuff and giving comments and stuff.
No, thank you.
Oh, I'm really tired and my makeup is a mess, so I have like a little filter on right now.
So she's got.
And yeah, I'm okay. I actually saw this comment and I was like, I want to show you guys because I literally don't know what this means. Because my house is like literally not 1990s. And someone said I had a 90s aesthetic, like stuck in the 90s aesthetic. And I'm like, my house was built in 2013. All my decorations and everything I buy in my house is definitely not from the 90s. Like when I think of the 1990s, I think of like lava lamps and bean bags and like.
When she started talking about that, I'm going, that's the 70s. That's the 70s. I don't remember that stuff in the. I don't remember that in the 90s.
Black lights and Nirvana pictures and shag carpeting and not. So I just have to ask, what is a 90s aesthetic? Is that like, what does that mean? I mean, no, that she's not actually a troll. No, because when I was, okay, so that was not the 70s. Oh my gosh, that was not the 70s.
Put a 1. Put a 1 if lava lamps and bean bags were the 70s, and put a 2 if it was the 90s. A 1 for the 70s, 2 for the 90s. Let's settle this once and for all. They did make a comeback, but just because something makes a comeback doesn't mean that they're not originally. So we've got 2 for the 70s. Look up 90s decor. It's exactly her house. 1. So we've got the 70s. Yeah. I'm living in the 70s.
It was not the 70s at all. I was a kid in the 90s, and we had lava lamps, and we had black lights. Like legit, that's what we had when. So I'm not remembering my childhood.
There's no point arguing with people. Okay, so your parents in the 90s lived in the 70s. That's fine.
Because in the 90s we had lava lamps and we had black lights. I know that they were in the 70s, but they came back in the 90s.
So now Toad is going, hang on a minute, it's from the 70s. And now she's going to get really upset. I was a kid in the 50s, says Joe. Oh dear. It's yeah, Llama Girl's been doing amazing stuff. Friends inspired decor. So anyway, so there's no point getting upset because of the fact that you know yeah, there's no point getting upset because your subs are having it, or the people watching have a different view to you. Maybe her parents had 70s inspired decor and that's what she remembers. She could be right. You both could be right. But lava lamps did make a comeback. But but they're from the 70s.
I know that they were in the 70s, but they came back in the 90s. It's a vibe. How am I stuck in the 90s? That's actually offensive. If you think about it. Like,
it's offensive to be stuck in the 90s? Really?
it's a vibe. How am I stuck in the 90s? That's actually offensive if you think about it. Like, that would be like I didn't actually like evolve from the 1990s. I'm not saying that do you guys literally just come on here to. Okay, first off, I'm going to turn off comments. You know, when I say 1990s, I'm just going to be real honest here. I grew up in the 90s. I graduated high school in the 90s. I know what the 90s aesthetic is. I know lava lamps were not developed in the 70s, but I'm telling you, they were really popular in the 90s. So was flannel, so were Doc Martens, so were pencil thin eyebrows, so were waif models, so was Calvin Klein underwear, where you showed like the Calvin Klein like underwear stuff thing. So were high-waisted jeans and like big baggy t-shirts and color block. Like, that was the 90s. That doesn't mean it started in the 90s. That's just what was popular in the 90s. alternative rock, Doc Martens, baby doll t-shirts, baby doll dresses, 90210 bullshit. Like, so I'm sitting here going, like, how am I stuck in the 90s? Because literally, like, if you look at my wardrobe, definitely not 90s. I actually get so annoyed when I see 90s clothes coming back because I'm like, oh, God, that's like my childhood. I don't want to go back to my childhood. And I'm like, is it because of what's on my wall? Because what's on my wall, I bought only a few years ago.
Did she say because what's on was bought in the 80s? Is that what she was going to say?
Is it because of what's on my wall? Because what's on my wall, I bought in the
She's going to say in the 80s.
like only a few years ago. Like the 90s are back right now. I know the clothing is, and I buy my clothes off Lulu's. So is my vibe because of what I've been buying for my clothes? I don't know. No one's ever told me that I've been trapped in a decade before. I don't even really listen to 90s music. Okay, so.
Well, actually, you've said before you don't listen to music at all, so.
I can turn back on the comments, but I just had to get.
Oh, boy. Oh.
Anything, like I'm getting a lot of really just unnecessary things being said about me. And listen, I don't care if people talk about me, but like right now, what is actually being said about me is so offensively wrong. And like people are, for some reason, dictating this narrative about me that is so astronomically false. And if I say anything, like I'm getting destroyed. And so like, I'm not losing.
Well, don't say anything then. You say it best when you say nothing at all.
Tons of subscribers or anything like that. It's just really weird to me that really small things are making people like aggravated about me when I've not changed what I've done at all. You know, like nothing's changed at all. Todd Chrisley is still suing me for baseless, frivolous allegations. And people are continuously acting like this lawsuit is meaningful when it's not. And I've unfortunately had to respond to like the stupid stuff that keeps being said about me. And they're acting like this is something that's like a big deal when it's really not. It's
really, if I was sued, I'd be taking it as a big deal and I'd be taking it seriously. But then that's just me.
Annoying is what it is. It's annoying and it's expensive. And
well, why? I thought you had insurance. Why don't you care about it being expensive if you have insurance? You've bragged about, KJ, you bragged about how you've got insurance and you don't have to worry about how much it costs. And now you're saying that it's expensive. Is insurance not going to cover you?
It's annoying and it's expensive. And I'm not a minimalist at all, actually. I mean, I don't like clutter. That's 100% true. But if you saw my house, that's definitely not. But it's like this narrative right now where everyone wants to make these videos like I'm like a liar, and it's like this. It's like every single time.
No, I don't make you out to be a liar. You do that yourself. Allegedly, in my opinion. All I got to do is show you videos. I mean, your story can change in the 1 minute.
The minute you stop caring, you start growing. Okay, I understand that, but at the same time, like, I don't really care what people say about me. I'm just telling people that, like, I don't understand the obsession. Like, if you're trying to spread nastiness about me because you want to build your channel, whatever. There's plenty of channels that their entire channels are about me. But to, like, just make up stupid lies, I don't understand. Like, for me, when I was actually thinking about this week.
She was thinking. She's been thinking.
Means me. If you don't like me so much that you will go on the wrong side of a story just to prove your point, that's so disturbing to me. Like, if you saw people being abused very publicly, wouldn't you want to say something, but not make the person that's calling them out the abuser?
Actually, let's just think about that for the moment. Do you remember that video that went out with there where there was yelling in the background from Todd and V, and people questioned her and got called out, and she reacted over that. So now she's saying it's okay if it's anybody else. So just have a listen to that. Let's have a listen to this again.
But not make the person that's calling them out. Like, if you saw people being abused very publicly, wouldn't you want to say something, but not make the person that's calling them out the abuser?
Now, isn't that ironic? Didn't Alanis Morissette have a song called Ironic? So it's okay to call out abuse and assault if it's somebody else, but if you hear something from her house that you're concerned about, you can't do anything.
So I'm the abuser because I'm like, okay, I'm gonna turn on comments again because I just want to like vent here. So, and I'm not trying to be rude, you guys. I'm just trying to process this, and I don't want to be rude to my commenters because I love you guys and I appreciate you guys.
I love you guys. I appreciate you guys. But if you don't believe what I'm saying, then I'm not interested.
But I'm just factually saying something that if you are so against me that you'll be against what's actually happening to people that's like abusive or hurting them or harmful to them, it actually hurts my heart to think that you think that that these people are not being abused. Like, that hurts my heart. I don't care that you think that I'm lying. It hurts my heart that you actually hate me so much that you're ignoring what's happening to other people.
Well, I've not seen any evidence that there has been anything happening to other people, to be honest with you. And if we want to be honest, what have I seen? What have we been shown that proves what she's saying? I've not seen anything.
You can actually not like someone but still not disagree with their take. You know what I mean? Like, there's plenty of conservative pundits that I'm not a conservative. I don't care if you are, but if I'm like, say I'm like listening to politics, just giving you an example, I don't have to like agree with everything they say, but I'm not going to disagree with everything they say just because they're a conservative, right? So just because someone who's a conservative says something doesn't mean they automatically are constantly lying all the time. There's plenty of times that I'm listening to a political person and it's like a Republican and I'm like, oh yeah, that's a good take, you know, whatever. Or say if it's someone who is religious and I'm not a religious person, they could still have a good take on something and I'm not going to hate them just because they're a religious person, you know.
Who's talking about hate? I've never said that I don't like her behaviour. I've never said that I hate her. I said I don't like her behaviour.
No, like if your life is so dictated around hating someone to the extent that you can't actually see the truth, that concerns me about this society, is that people that are reporting on stories are being villainized for actually reporting on what's happening instead of getting mad at the people for what's happening, right? If you're angry about what is happening, don't shoot the messenger for reporting on the story.
So again, I go back to that footage that's around of the stuff that happened in her house. The footage was put on, and people made their own conclusions as to what's going on there. But yeah, anyway.
What if you were trying on the story, right? And what I was doing and what I have been doing with the Shekinah story is to try to keep it relevant. It's not an obsession. It's just in the world of social media, you have to keep stories relevant or else they go away. And if there's family members that are affected and they feel like they're affected and there's plenty of stories and there's plenty of people that have come out publicly now that you know that this is not affecting just one person, do you ignore that? Or do you keep fighting for those people, even if they don't feel like they need to be fought for? What if you were trapped in a situation and just put yourself in this position? Like, what if you had no one fighting for you and you didn't know that you needed someone to fight for you? Do you get mad at the person that's fighting? Or would you at some point in time realize that that person fighting for you?
This was over the weekend, short order cook. I think this was Friday night. I think. So this is stated the 16th. Hello, Bella.
Had your best intentions the whole time and that they weren't there to hurt you. It's not popular to speak up for people, and it's definitely not popular to boldly speak out for people. It's controversial. It hurts people's platforms. It hurts people's reputations. It's why influencers don't speak up. They don't want the controversy. And I get it. Like, I'm taking the lumps and the hits and the heat. I'm seeing people unsubscribe from my YouTube channel. I'm seeing negative comments about how I'm doing this or I'm doing that. But it's like no different to me than with the Josh Duggar story is people said I was a liar and I was doing this and I was doing that. I was wrong. And then he got arrested and now he's incarcerated and I wasn't wrong.
No.
People just didn't want to see it. So just try to disassociate yourself or disconnect from the narrative that someone else has created. A lot of reality stars, a lot of celebrities want to control a narrative. And I'm not playing narratives. I'm just reporting on what I find.
Oh, no.
And so I can only report based on the documents, the public records, the interviews. I can't ignore those. And just because it doesn't match the reality.
Oh, boy. You know what? The Josh Duggar story would be one that I would be hoping that I would be wrong on. There would be some things that I would say that I would want to say, I hope I'm wrong. I don't want to be right. Because to be right, I mean, and it's not something that in my opinion, is something to be bragged about either. Again, that's just my opinion.
Just because it doesn't match the reality doesn't make me the bad guy. I would be more concerned if I was the person that was consuming that was being lied to and being lied to for, like, every person that's on a platform that's lying to you is profiting off of that. And that's disingenuous. And the one thing that these people will come to me with is I'll say that you're the liar, Katie. No, I'm not a liar. Do I change my opinions? Yes. Do I sometimes make mistakes and have to correct stories? Yes. Happens all the time in this world, especially in the world of fast news. Have I been sued? Yes. Lots of media outlets are sued.
But you are not a media outlet. Oh, is there? All right, I'll just stop for a moment and I'll have a look and see what's going on here. Wow. What? I did not put that up. I can't comment at this time. I've been advised. I took a screenshot asking YouTube to check log in on YouTube. What does that mean? So who's done it then? Oh, this is ridiculous. This is I can't make any of this stuff up. I wish I could.
I'm an easy target because I'm an independent blogger or journalist.
You're not a
Target. blogger or journalist who has me, my legal team, my business manager, like that's my team. That's it. And so if someone's going to target someone to try to bully them or like get them to be silent, they're going to go after the low person on the totem pole. They're not going to go after the sun. They're not going to go after.
Wait on. So she's got a business manager now.
Touch. They're not going to go after the big media outlets because they're going to assume that I don't have the legal capacity to handle it. Getting sued does not mean that you've done anything wrong. It can, but honestly, in the world of reporting, more often than not, getting sued means someone wants you to shut
up. No. Getting sued means you've been told to shut up. You've been told to correct the record, and you haven't. In Australia, there've been some big defamation trials going on with the big media outlets. There's currently one going on at the moment. It's been going on for 6 months. And it's still going to go on for ages. So, yeah, they do get sued. But the thing is, they actually don't ask for the motion to be dismissed. They actually go and they plead the truth defense. And they pull out the truth and all the skeletons out of the plaintiff's closet. So, yeah. And that's why I'm saying if she is so certain that her motion to dismiss is spot on, she would let the date, she would let it play out. That's just my opinion. It would be a bring it on, because if you are so confident that it was meritless, why would you be dragging it out for a longer time? And if it got dismissed, then there's no fight over discovery. So this is the whole thing. It could be done and dusted with next week. Todd Chrisley's case could be done and dusted with, but no, she wants to extend it. Don't know why. In my opinion, this is my opinion, if she can drag it out longer, the more she can talk about it and the more she can have people feeling sorry for her. Just my opinion.
And they want to use your money. They want to get you to have to spend money, have to waste time so that you stop talking about them. It happens all the time. Celebrities are notorious for filing baseless lawsuits against people so that reporting will stop. Literally, in the world of the defamation world, nobody wins these cases. It's next to impossible to.
Hang on, haven't you been bragging that you won against Tuddy? Didn't you just say recently she won? Well, if she's tired of being sued, then the thing is, then she's got to stop making defamatory comments. Because
prove unless you're blatantly lying. I know that Tasha K lost one against Cardi B, but she blatantly lied. And she admitted on, I think, in her testimony to fabricating and falsifying stories. If you're flat out falsifying stories, yes, you should be sued. But if you are reporting based on what's out in the public, it's hard to prove defamation because you're also allowed to have an opinion in the United States called free speech. So, someone getting sued does not mean they're automatically a liar. It just means that you've pissed someone off that has money. And there's a lot of people right now that have a lot to lose, and I'm just like the easy target.
No, it's just that the media outlets like The Sun might do a story, and then they leave that story to fester for a few days, and then they'll do a follow-up story, and then they don't post hourly about the same story.
So I have had to, for months, stay silent about the situation with the Chrisleys. And listen, to this day, don't have anything like, I don't hate them. I simply reported on the story, and I became friends with their daughter, and now I'm being sued for statements that were made from years ago across multiple platforms. I actually was online looking at interviews. There's probably more than a dozen interviews on the same topic, spanning months and months and months. I didn't add anything new to the story. Like, I read articles about things that his son said. I had opinions. Like, everyone gets to have an opinion. My crime in this specific case was that I was friends with his daughter. And for some reason, I believe he thinks that I have information that will help his criminal case.
See, that's the thing. It's her belief. She said, he thinks I've got stuff for the criminal case. He's not asking for anything from the criminal case. He wants the communications between him and Lindsay so he can find out where she got the information about him from. But she's putting the link there to the criminal case. Bella, yes, I've seen everything that went on over the weekend. Yes, I do know what's going on. Yeah, it's a mess. But she'll be stuffed if the judge denies it and says, "Hey." I mean, and if her motion to dismiss gets thrown out because she hasn't defended it, she hasn't put in a defense. She's put all her eggs in the motion to dismiss basket. So if the motion to dismiss fails, she's stuffed, in my opinion, because she's not defended. She's not defended anything. She's just saying it's because
because it doesn't match the don't. So there was filings that were done this week, and he's saying that we're not cooperating with his discovery. The problem is that all of his discovery is about his daughter. And I have been for months trying to protect her. So yes, I was hurt when I saw her post and she referred to me as that YouTuber.
She got relegated as YouTuber. Lindsay doesn't need you to protect her. She's already done what she's needed to do.
Because we were friends, and I miss her, and I still think she's a wonderful person, and I would never want to hurt her. I wish I wasn't in the situation that I was in, and I wish she wasn't in the situation that she was in, and I wish that he would just leave her alone.
See, she's still talking about the fact that she's still implying that he's harassing her. But that's not what Lindsay is saying. Lindsay's saying she's now got a relationship with her dad. If anything, KJ's brought them together.
I don't have any ill will towards her. I think she's in an impossible position. I'm just hurt because I care about her a lot. And I don't ever want to hurt her. Ever. And that means that if somebody's using their platform or the lawyers to try to get evidence against someone that could be a witness in your case, I'm not going to just give it up. Like, it's not even relevant. The stuff that's being asked for is not relevant. And
she decides, I mean, it's not for her to decide whether it's relevant or not. The court decides whether it's relevant. It gets all put in at the court. That's what discovery is. And they go, no, actually, well, that's not relevant. That's relevant. That's not. They argue it. They can argue. Let the lawyers argue that. That's not for you to say.
First of all, he's filing these baseless things in this lawsuit. The lawsuit has no standing, right? There's no claims here, nothing. He's acting like we're not cooperating with discovery. We have handed over discovery, but we've also filed a motion to dismiss. Okay, I'm sure my lawyer is going to be hating me right now for talking about this, but I'm so sick of being quiet about it. We filed a motion to dismiss.
And in fact, interestingly, she hasn't been live since. So I think she's had the riot act read to her. I hope he's read the riot act to her, because if he hasn't, he's a fool, in my opinion, because she is helping Todd Chrisley's lawyer, in my view.
And then, as soon as we filed the motion to dismiss, he sends us a letter for discovery, and it's all about her. Why is he so interested in discovery about his daughter? It doesn't make sense. I mean, he wants all of our communication.
But he's already got it. Lindsay's already given him the communication. He wants to see what you're going to cough up.
Isn't that weird? I don't feel like handing over private communication with someone that has nothing to do with him. I mean, doesn't that seem kind of violating?
Private communication, the only reason why she wouldn't want to hand out the private communication is if it's going to implicate her in what he's saying.
It does to me. And it's irrelevant because we weren't talking about him. And what is he going to do with that information? Like, he can go on his platform and he can play the victim.
I'll say, Plan to Create says, I don't feel like handing it over, Judge. Judge, there's some private information, there's some private stuff in there. Like, I've told her that, yeah, it's not going to wash. That's why she wants it delayed. She's trying to get it she wants everything delayed, but.
And he can say that he's being persecuted by the media and by his business partner, and how his kids turned him in, and he can blame everyone. And he can sling mud, and he can make all of his podcasts about me, and he can try to get everyone to sue me, and he can bully me, and he can threaten me on his podcast and say he's going to destroy me if I don't get what he wants. But I'm not the one that's facing a 12-count indictment and potentially up to 30 years in prison.
Well, actually, wasn't it 9 counts in the previous thing? They should play this to the judge. Yeah. She hasn't handed over computer data or financial info either. It has nothing to do with it. Yeah, didn't they want the amount of money that she's earned from the videos?
And when he's in the middle, like, there was a pre-trial conference yesterday, and one of the motions that was filed by the government was that he was not giving them discovery. And another thing that they were concerned about was him using evidence to impeach witnesses. So they were afraid that he was going to be trying to extrapolate information about people that were called for the government as witnesses to try to impeach them on the stand so that they weren't, credible. So I saw that in the motion, and I was like, and then we get a discovery request from him. So that's kind of where we're at. And I'm sure this video is going to cause 37 more emails from him, 27 more podcasts where he calls me all kinds of names and says I'm a liar. But Todd has 3 active cases right now, not just me.
Now, how many cases have you got, Katie?
He's literally suing everyone. That's my opinion. And then he also has this case where he is facing 30 years in prison. And
will it be 30 years in prison? How many did Martha Stewart get? Didn't she get a few? And there was somebody else that was out after a short time. Didn't Martha Stewart only do a couple of years? Didn't Martha Stewart go to prison for the same thing? And she came out a bigger celebrity than when she went in.
I don't know why he thinks this, but he somehow, in one of their, it seems implied that he believes that I had some sort of relationship with his daughter before I ever met her, because I don't know anything about his case until after he was indicted.
So that's interesting. Aliar says Martha got 5 months. All right. So she keeps talking about 30 years. If he gets 5 months, what's she going to do? And she's going to be so upset when Josh doesn't get 30 years either. I can't see either of them getting 30 years. Believe it or not. I know it's hard. Criminal case has nothing to do with her. Why does she keep bringing that up? She's hoping he's locked up to get her out of her lawsuit. Can't his lawyers... Yes. Well, the thing is, they can continue when they're in jail. One of the things that you're entitled to is legal representation. You have to be able to do it because prisoners do their appeals from inside jail. You know, Josh Duggar is still filing motions. He's in jail. So going to jail is not going to stop the ball from rolling because he can see his lawyers. It's not going to work.
So it's like, it just seems like, well, I'm not cooperating with discovery. Well, technically, we're trying to get this dismissed. And also, technically, we do have a right to request that there be a delay on this until your criminal trial is under wraps. Because if you're trying to use a civil case to litigate your criminal case, that's kind of a problem, in my opinion.
But, again, there's no connection. I can't see a connection. As I said, maybe it's just I'm not smart. I don't have the intelligence.
And we don't want to hurt any witnesses for the government. Like, I don't want to get in the middle of a criminal case. So that's kind of where I'm at. I don't hate Lindsay. I care about her a lot. I never would want to hurt her in a million years. And I'm sorry that this is what's going on in her life. And I'm sad that I was called that YouTuber and that I was told, like, not to talk about her. But I can't control the situation that I'm in. Like, the entire lawsuit is about her. So how do you avoid it? Sucks. So just have some empathy for her, man. Like, I don't know. She can hate me all she wants and say whatever she wants. But, like, I just feel sad for her. I feel sad for the situation she's in because no kid should have to be in that position.
Cry for me.
And I'm not gonna turn on someone just because someone's trying to bully me, in my opinion, to get what they want. I mean, I was looking through court records. Do you know, in like one county in Georgia, I think there was over 30 lawsuits that have been filed by him or against him. I was like, and that's just in one county in Georgia. There's like dozens in the federal court. There's multiple in other counties in South Carolina. I mean, he has bragged that he just likes to file lawsuits for sport, just to bother people. Like, that's someone that, in my opinion, is abusing the legal system. So when people cheer someone on that abuses the legal system, you're like, really? My opinion. So much like he has his opinion and can go on his podcast and talk incessantly about me, like, I get a right to respond. I also have no ill feelings towards Lindsay. So if you want to make drama, there's none. I have empathy for her. And I'm also just sad because I feel like I lost a friend. That's it. Like, everybody to just, like, chill out. And, like, I'm not the bad guy. I'm not the bad guy that people are trying to make me out on YouTube. If you, like, everything I do right now, I feel like I just, like, watch my subscriber count. And it's, like, up 10, down 5, up 10, up, down 5. And I'm not losing anything, like, even remotely, like, it's negligible in terms of, like, the numbers. But, like, every single person that tunes out because of something false just makes my heart hurt. Like, oh my God, I hate drama. Most of you guys know that I hate drama. I don't want to be in this situation at all. All I wanted was to help a friend, and I wanted to fight for some people that were what appears to be in a cult. And if that makes me a bad person, I'm sorry. I'd rather be a bad person fighting for other people than someone that fights against someone who fights for other people. Like, I read this one woman's Instagram page, and she said she would not be happy until my entire platform was destroyed. And I thought, what is it that I do that it bothers you so much? And her name was Lori Carter. And I remember thinking, Lori Carter, why do you hate me so much? Like, what did I do to you that I need to have my entire platform removed?
And of course, she's called somebody out, so now all her little fans will go find that person and harass them. Good one.
I don't even want the Duggars platform removed. Like, I have never called for their YouTubes to be canceled or for their Instagrams to go down. Like, I would never want someone's platform to be taken away from them unless they're doing something egregious. But, like, you won't be happy until I'm destroyed. But if I were to ever say that about someone else, I'm sure Lori would call me evil, right? It's like that little weird space we live in. And also, I did say last week that there was some YouTubers that might have gotten the lawsuit from illegally, and I think I was sick and wasn't feeling good, so I'm sorry if like those YouTubers got it through the court system. I was wrong on that, but factually, I know that there was at least one person.
There you go. She just said she was wrong about something. Did anyone make note of the date and the time?
That did post the lawsuit when it wasn't filed in court, and factually, I know that person had to have got it from the group because factually the group was following them. So I'm not going to personally apologize to every YouTuber because I don't even know who was making videos about it.
Yeah, you do. Yeah, you do. Yeah, you do.
YouTubers that I don't like or have feelings about. You don't have to unsubscribe to someone because of how I feel about someone. And conversely, like, I wouldn't want anyone to unsubscribe to me because she doesn't like me or whatever. Like, it's just, in this world, if someone's going to talk about you, you do have a right to respond. And that doesn't mean that we have to live in a world where, like, you unsubscribe to someone and take someone's side. Like, nobody's jealous. I believe everyone has a place on YouTube. Everyone should be able to be successful. I just want to exist in a world where, like, we're not trying to kill each other's careers when we're doing the same job. Like, I don't want to hurt anyone's career that's trying to do this job. It's cutthroat. Okay, I'm going to turn on comments. All right. There's Blair's. I love you.
I love you, baby.
I did need that. I just want fairness, and I don't like lying, and yeah, like, just exactly, thank you. You have a right to freedom of speech and to disagree. It is the glitter filter, yeah. It's like on my face.
I agree, she'll order. She should apologize.
I'm just sad, like, when I see people, like, unsubscribe over stupid, petty stuff. Like, why would you unsubscribe over someone because I had a bad moment or someone sued me? That doesn't really mean anything. Like, do you know how many lawsuits the Kardashians have? Like, 1 million. You know what's really ironic? That's interesting, Desi. She said, they get excited about defamation, yet defame you every day. So I was having this conversation with my legal team.
Oh, yeah, her legal team.
The people that harass me like that. And I'm not of the opinion that you sue people that are like that because you never win those cases. And it's like whack-a-mole. So what? You sue one creator that says some shit about you, and then what? 2 minutes later, it's another creator. It never solves anything. Being able to speak to each other would be better. Like, there's times where I'm like, I would just like to reach out to these creators and be like, what did I do to you? Like, what exactly do you hate about me?
She's blocked just about everybody, so
but then I know that I can't because
you've blocked them all.
If I talk to them, they'll just use it as content and then they'll just call me names.
Because she's got most people blocked.
I'm glad you. I love all of my subscribers. It just hurts when people unsubscribe because you love every single one that subscribes, you know? Well, I try to take accountability when I...
So she loves all of her subscribers. I don't know who all of my subscribers are. So, you know, I don't know who you all are. I know some of you. I only know the ones that come in and chat all the time. But, you know.
Can. Well, I feel like I'm getting hit. Yeah, they don't want to ever mend fences. I've learned that. My husband also said that in this industry, there's a lot of backstabbing. It's a lot easier to throw someone under the bus than it is to stand by someone.
Stand by your subs.
And you're not really friends with people. That's the hard part. Is you think you make friends and then you're not really friends. Like it hurts. I don't want to hate on anyone. I don't even want to hate on the Duggars.
But you do.
Well, my husband's not in the room, so I don't know what you're agreeing with him about.
He just said my husband said.
No, she said I agree with your husband. I don't know. My husband's upstairs though. This week has just been so, I don't know, I'm just in a funk. I'm just so emotional this week.
So I'm gonna get
Yeah,
worse.
the entertainment world is very fickle. So like the minute if you're friends with someone, you're like friends with them as long as you're benefiting them. And I'm not saying that that's like how every single person is. I'm just saying that like in general, you'll see a lot of people that it's like as long as you're benefiting them, it's fine. But the minute you cause controversy or are negative to their brand, they're like, bye. Oh, yes, there is a lot of backstabbing. I'm sorry. Oh, yes, there is a lot of backstabbing in this field, 100%. It's hard. And it's hard to be a female journalist. Like, we're easier targets.
So tell me why there aren't more journalists being sued then.
Yeah. Like, if you had a friend that you're just, like, shooting the shit with about, like, your kids, do you really think that that's, like, privy to, like, their dad having access to that? Like, that's just so weird to me. Like, if I didn't report on it, why do you need it?
The thing is that he's already got the communications from Lindsay, so he already knows what's in there. Here she goes with playing the female. I know she always plays the female card. Always.
Don't. You just don't. I just feel sad for the kids, to be honest. Criminal trials in the U.S. government are, like, very hard to win. About the direction. comes for you and you have like an indictment, it's really hard to win. Like 90% of people that are indicted by the federal government end up taking plea deals. They have a 93% conviction rate. The chances of getting out of federal charges are slim to none. When the U.S. government is bringing charges against you, they have a lot of evidence, and they have a rock-solid case, generally, and it's not easy to win. So I was looking through their recent filings, and they have so much evidence. And like I said, they've pled not guilty. Nobody's saying that they did this. They've pled not guilty. But if I was someone that was facing those kinds of charges, that's what I would be focusing on, not this other stuff.
You do. Does she realize that that criminal and civil law are different specialties, and she actually would have that he would have different lawyers working on different things? Does she not realize that? So you can actually be running multiple cases in multiple jurisdictions with different lawyers. Yeah.
And I'll be the first to admit if I just hope that whatever the resolution is the just resolution. And I hope that here's my hope, is if he was framed, I hope that they find him innocent. But if he's guilty, I hope that they found him guilty. You know what I'm saying? I'm not here to be Todd Chrisley, I think you're a horrible person. All I was doing was reporting on stories. That was it. I feel like no one reports on it because he sues people. Look at me, I'm getting sued. This will be used against me. I'll have 5 emails from my attorneys tomorrow. No.
Funny, isn't it?
Make videos about them on YouTube. It's been a long time. It's a serious criminal case, though. I'm why is no one talking about this? Remember when Mike the Situation was going? Are my own attorneys trying to silence me? No. I mean, first of all, my legal team, I wouldn't ever tell you guys what my attorneys tell me, because that would be attorney-client privilege. But my legal team, which encompasses more than attorneys, no. I can say whatever I want to say. It's been a long time since I've even made a video about him.
She can say whatever she likes to say. Want to make a bet? I reckon.
Yeah, I don't talk about it because to me it just feels like a fight not worth fighting. Not only that, is I didn't want to make Lindsay, I didn't want to add unnecessary stress to her. Unfortunately, now I'm in a situation where it's I've had to respond. Well, some people don't want you to speak about them, but that doesn't mean that they have a right to say that you can't speak about them. If they're a public figure and they have a public platform and they're of a public interest, that's why journalism exists.
But you're not a journalist. Well, that's why she hasn't said
Sometimes I just
anything.
wish there would be people that would actually stick up for me. Like, literally never. I never see that. Like, nobody ever sticks up for me.
I do if you say something that's I do if I think
I'm just like,
I would stick up for you if you said something that I could stick up for you for. But you know. Oh yeah, wait for the DMs. That's right. She's gonna start on the Lindsay. That's right.
sometimes I just wish there would be people that would actually stick up for me. Like, literally never. I never see that. Like, nobody ever sticks up for me. I'm just like everyone's person to hate. So that's why I stay to myself. I've never seen YouTubers rarely ever stick up for me. Everyone deems me like toxic and they all hate me. So that's fine.
But who's done that though? There's a reason why people would have done that.
Nothing I can do about it.
Sing me a song.
I actually don't mind uncivil law. I've spoken to him. I actually talked to him a couple days ago. We talked about the Tati Westbrook lawsuit.
Yeah.
And there's a huge, okay, first of all, I just want to say something. There's this huge misinformation about the settlement with Tati and I. We both can talk about the misinformation that is spread. We both, as a part of our settlement, have a right to defend ourselves against the negative and false information that is spread about the lawsuit. Both.
That's funny because Tati still doesn't talk about it.
Sides can. So when someone starts talking about the lawsuit and it's wrong, I can actually defend myself, and that's not a violation of our settlement agreement. Because I'm not disparaging her, I'm not disparaging anyone.
Well, or Nate the lawyer would be another one because possible. Oh, yeah, maybe. But no, Tati hasn't said anything.
During the Tati Westbrook lawsuit, my legal team only liked Uncivil's take. I will say that. They were not thrilled with other people's takes because it was just a messy lawsuit. There was so much misinformation. There was so many people filing depositions that never should have been filing depositions, like trolls that that inserted themselves into the lawsuit. It was such a mess that the settlement actually was good because he destroyed Charlotte. Listen, I don't have anything to say about Charlotte. I have stuck up for her when she has been doxxed. I have stuck up for her when she has been harassed. I stuck up for her when she was getting death threats. I have never, ever been rude about her. She is very stuck on me, and it's weird. And I think her video quality isn't very good, if I'm being honest. Like, that's the only reason why I would never watch a video by her is because her video quality isn't good. And she says I'm all about the money, which is so weird because it's like, if she knew like the money that I make on some of the stories, she'd be like, oh no. No. I don't like Charlotte's video quality. That's all. I don't watch her videos. Someone sent me one of her videos once, and I just didn't like how she was not positioned correctly on the screen, and it wasn't good quality. That was it. Like, that was my only critique. I was like, well, if she got a better camera and she was better positioned in the frame, maybe I would take her more seriously. Listen, I talk about the Duggars, so I understand, like, once you have a topic, you talk about it. The difference between talking about me all day and talking about the Duggars is there's like 50,000 Duggars. Like, seriously, there's 19 kids. There's like, how many grandkids now? 30? 20? So you got 50 kids almost between grandkids and kids and parents. And then you got in-laws.
But the Duggars aren't on TV anymore. Their show got axed, and the grandkids are minors, so you shouldn't be talking about minors. So hello.
It is how I make a living. Bobby. Tonight's video of, I had one glass of wine, I guess, if that makes me drunk. If you show me support, I don't know, like, leave me nice comments on my videos, and don't get into fights with these other channels. With today's videos, it was different than, like, my current trends and topics. What I wanted to do today for my videos was I was trying to go back in time, because a lot of times with my topics, I like to, like, revisit things. And my video about the Duggars, about Josh and the advice that he gave, I actually thought was a really good video because it wasn't, like, gossipy. I was actually reading a book that's written by an author that's horrible advice that's given to people, and it's like, it just helped reinforce this idea that, like, if you're in this world and you're constantly being told as a woman that you're property, that when your husband does something wrong, you won't disagree with them. I saw the Without a Crystal Balls. She was actually commenting about my weight, which I thought was really funny. So she said that before I was, like, underweight because I was on my Adderall. She's very concerned about my Adderall. To which I say, if you have ADHD and you need to take an Adderall, go for it. It's the best thing that ever happened to me. I'm not a pill addict. When I first started medication for Adderall, I did lose a lot of weight, and I lost a lot of weight very fast. And my doctors and I had to work on making sure that I ate, because when you first start taking these medications, it's an appetite suppressant, and so you have to learn how to eat when you're on the medication, which in the last few years I've learned how to eat. Lost like 40 pounds, and I was very thin like 3 years ago, and now I'm at a much healthier weight. And it's not because I'm a pill addict, it was because of starting a new medication. So, yeah. But they said that I was gaining weight because I'm lazy and I drink wine all day, and I was like, oh my God, like the 3 glasses of wine I have in a week, wow. But it's sad because if you express how you're feeling and you share that you have a mental health disorder or you have a mental illness, and then you get help for that, then you're ridiculed for being on pills. But it is, if you start medication for ADHD, it's very common to lose a lot of weight. So you have to learn how to eat. I would, like, lose 5 pounds in a day, and it was like, what the hell is happening here? So, and if I don't if I literally forget to eat, that can happen. So I have to be very conscious about eating. And I have to eat a lot more than I would normally eat. I would rather be taking my medications and doing what I need to do than not be medicated and making fun of someone for being medicated. But even when I lost all that weight, I was still not underweight. But during the day, it's very easy for me not to eat because it's like you're not hungry. You have to learn to eat on this med. I don't get hyperfocus anymore, not on the Adderall. That's the other thing is people say that I hyperfocus on stories. With the 7M story, it wasn't a hyperfocus. It was literally a strategic decision to keep the story relevant. It wasn't hyperfocus. It was like using social media.
Wasn't hyperfocus. What was it then? We should be nearly
to
done.
make sure that a story stayed relevant. Now, with the 7M story, I'm not putting things out on my Instagram because people are stealing my work, not crediting me, and trying to make productions based on my journalism. And I just think that's really like low class. Like, I have production companies now reaching out to people through my comments on videos when they know full well that I'm working on something. It's just so tacky. Like, so you're going to take my work, take the relationships I've built because you are glomming onto a project for money. To me, this isn't a story about money. It's a story about people that I believe are being violated and having their human rights violated. And to me, I want to tell that story in a way that honors those people that have been hurt and make sure that the people that are doing those things are held accountable. I don't look at this as a money grab to go onto someone's Instagram and try to get those contacts from that person and not have to do the work.
Mm-hmm.
It's not media outlets that are doing that. It's production companies that are doing that. It's very cutthroat. So right now we're working on things behind the scenes to do something broader than what I can do on my Instagram, while also keeping private some of the people involved so that we can deliver you something that'll be impactful to help the people involved. I don't know. I know that there's an article coming out early next week with New York Magazine. All right, I have to go. I'm very tired. And we're working on it. So be nice to people. I don't hate anyone. There's no drama. Everything's great. I don't want to fight with people. I want to live in a world where people are fair to each other, not backbiting. And I don't want my subscribers or followers to live in that world either. We're working on it. So be nice to people. I don't hate anyone. There's no drama. Everything's great. I don't want to fight with people. I want to live in a world where people are fair to each other, not backbiting. And I don't want my subscribers or followers to live in that world either.
Okay, so she didn't say goodbye. So then we've got Does this have to do with 7M? What's going on? I think it's so funny because it boils down to them just being annoyed by you and by all the things. I think it's hilarious and adorable about you. I think the swear, Midwest accent, stuck in the 90s aesthetic, insecure mannerisms make you such a character and beautifully juxtaposed to in your Snoopy shirt. Will you repost the videos of you going off? They were pure gold. Stuck in the 90s aesthetic? What? I am not stuck in the 90s. Okay, so then we've got what other people say about me is none of my business. I won't be answering any DMs about drama or anything personal. Have a great holiday tomorrow if you celebrate. If you don't, have a good Sunday. Love you all. Or as always, thank you for your support. There you go. She said here, because it's not there anymore, of course. This one. So she's got no time for drama. All right. So she said here, so I get there is a lot of questions about me. This page is not about me. I'm here to report. So I understand people are inquisitive. I'm finding all the questions overwhelming and detrimental to my mental health. I wish all people the best in their endeavours. I report on reality TV, true crime, reality TV, crime cults, and other topics. That's what I've done for years. The drama here doesn't serve me well. It doesn't make my followers happy. I won't be answering any questions about lawyers. I have lawsuits. I have lawyers for that. Just so you just know, I stand by what I report and I support people even when they support me. There is work to do, lots of it. I have blocked some accounts to reduce drama. I'm taking a break from lives on Instagram for a minute to take care of myself. My regular content will always be uploaded on YouTube. My channel is drama-free zone, so I do not address anything there ever. My subscribers do not like drama, and I respect that. So essentially, she's been told to shut up. So anyway, all right, I'm going to have to go now because I've got to get in and do some work. I didn't realize we've been going for over 2 hours, nearly 3 hours. So it's a long one. I thought it was really important to discuss that. But as I said, I'm really, to do with the hog situation. I wish that they would keep that off YouTube, off social media. I wish them all the best. I just hope they can get whatever help they need, and they can sort it out without. I just hope that they get the help that they need, and they can do it respectfully and think of the children. Anyway, so I've got to love you all and leave you all. So until next time, I don't know when that will be. I'm going to try and get back to regular stuff, and the non-Katie stuff because I like the non-Katie stuff. But anyway, I just wanted to do a quick catch up of while I've been away. So I'll catch you all next time. Bye for now.